What's going on, guys? I hope you guys are having a fantastic night or a fantastic day. It's been a long day. We're getting to a video a little bit late here, but what I have here is one of the single most expensive Pokemon cards I've ever picked up. I've collected a lot of things in my lifetime, and this card right here, this single piece of cardboard right here, goes on par with the cost of my first Rolex. This card is actually more expensive than the first car that I bought. The same price as the second car that I bought. And a sixth of the price of the down payment I put on my house. So this card is serious right here, and it's definitely one of my favorite cards. I've been telling you guys I had something big coming for a while, so I'm really excited to talk about it now. A lot of you have been guessing what card this was. There have only been two people, and you know who you are. There have only been two people to guess correctly what I had on the way. I've been talking about a lot of cards, but I've really been mentioning one card over and over again. So we're not going to tell you what that is yet. We're going to open this up here in a second, but I want to say that there are two of you out there. Of the 4,200 subscribers that I have, there are two of you out there that actually called it on this card. Now, you didn't definitively say it's this card. Actually, I think one of you did. But the other one of you put out a couple guesses. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into this. I'm extremely nervous. This card went, I purchased this card, I sent it to the eBay vault, I did not pay sales tax on this card, and then I withdrew it for a $50 fee. Now, this video is not only an experiment with my first time pulling a card out of the vault. I've since bought some other cards, and those are in the vault, but this is the first time I've gotten a card out of the vault. And I want to tell you, it was very nerve-wracking because when you pull a card out of the eBay vault, you don't get any idea. You don't even get an image of what the card is that they're sending you. You just get a little eBay vault icon, and then it says it's shipped and it gives you tracking. So I've been very stressed out, to say the least. Let's go ahead and open this thing up. I know you guys want a face down camera. You've been asking me to get it on this channel for a while, but for reasons like this, where I want to open up stuff and not worry about addresses and all that good stuff. Oh man. Okay, so first off, here we are. Here we go, guys. This is it. This is one of the biggest moments in my collecting career and my YouTube channel. I have never put this kind of money down on one card. I've bought a lot of expensive cards, most notably the Gold Star Rayquaza over here. You'll make a little guest entrance. Shout out to Grogu Cards for hooking me up with this beautiful gem. But yeah, this is the most expensive card I currently own to date. Well, it was the most expensive card I own to date. It has now been taken over by this card. Now, a lot of you have been making good guesses. We had PSA Rayquaza. Ryan, you're getting a PSA Rayquaza. PSA 9 Rayquaza to swap out for my Beckett because I do want a PSA collection. PSA 10 Lugia. PSA 10 Crystal Nidoking. PSA 10 Crystal Lugia. I've been collecting gold stars and crystals. One of my good friends knows that I'm a really big fan of the Gold Star Pikachu. So somebody said Gold Star Pikachu PSA 10. But I'm happy with most of my 9s. And then somebody said, which honestly, this one caught me off guard, because this would be spending a ridiculous amount of money. But a first edition PSA 9 base set Shadowless Charizard. I still have my PSA 5 first edition, and I will be going after a 9 at some point. I just don't know when that's going to be. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Hopefully this is not some random card in a random PSA grade, because I have no confirmation based on the image, the little stock vault image that I got. I have no confirmation that this is the actual card. So hopefully everything goes as planned. For those of you who've used the eBay vault and done this before, no big deal for you, but I've never done this before. And of course, I decided to do it with an extremely expensive card, very high risk, very scary for me, very stressful, very anxiety ridden. I picked this up about 3 weeks ago. So it's been 3 weeks of grappling with the financial stress that I bought this card. I sold things from, I know you guys, we're going to get into it. We're going to check this card out in a minute. I sold my first watch that I ever bought, Breitling Super Ocean. I sold that. I sold some of the first Air Jordans that I ever bought, some of the nicest sneakers I ever collected. I sold my LeBron crown jewels. I sold a bunch of Pokemon cards. Sold a lot of stuff. And you know what? All of it was culminating to this card. I'm really happy I was able to make this happen. But everything is paid off. I have no debt. I've got money saved in the bank. So those of you that are going to be worried, like, Ryan, why did you spend this kind of money? I just want to let you know, everything is okay. I'm doing very well financially. Everything is very stable. This card was a card to fill in the void after selling another card. And that probably tells you everything you need to know. But here we go. Let's review the absolutely stunning... Oh, it's a PSA 10 Crystal Charizard with a triple orb right here. This guy is absolutely stunning. Let's go ahead and get this guy out of here. Oh my God, I can't believe I own this card right now. Yo, this is hype. Okay, void if damaged. Okay, well, this thing is going to be voided because we are taking this thing out of this chonky loose sleeve. Oh my God. This card is absolutely stunning. I mean, absolutely stunning. I'm sorry, guys. I have to look at it myself for just a couple seconds, just to take it all in. What exactly does PSA 10 mean? Okay, wow. I mean, this thing is flawless. It's absolutely flawless. It's everything I would expect for spending $11,000 on a single piece of cardboard. It is everything I would expect. Here it is, the Crystal Charizard in a PSA 10. This thing is absolutely stunning. Oh man, so let me tell you, I had previously owned this card. But it was in a PSA 8. So if you guys were with me in the channel when we had Collecticon here in Charlotte, North Carolina, 2023 Collecticon, I picked up that Gold Star Rayquaza. Okay, Aspen, do you want to come in? Just come in. You want to just let her in here. At this point, it's fine. Just let her in. It's fine. I've already revealed the card. So Collecticon 2023 here in Charlotte, I went after chasing two cards, really. And Crystal Charizard was kind of in the back of my head, but it wasn't something that I felt like I had to have. The Gold Star Rayquaza was an absolute priority, and I'm glad we were able to make that happen. I traded off everything I had, sealed packs, Shadowless Charizards, First Edition Blastoise, First Edition Charizard, Shadowless Charizard. I traded everything that I had pretty much to get that Rayquaza. And then I traded a box of loose holographic WotC cards, LP to near mint. There's about 200 of those cards, which in a lot of ways I think was worth way more than a PSA 8 Crystal Zard. But I traded those for a PSA 8 Crystal Zard. And I took home a ton of cash, over $10,000 in cash I took home. A lot of that I ended up using for the rest of my crystal collection that a friend helped me source. But all that to say that I wasn't happy with the PSA 8, and I ended up selling it for $4,800, which pretty much got me all the money back that I had in the holo cards, or at least that I theoretically had in the holo cards. And so after I sold that Crystal 8 Charizard, I had a void where I was looking for a PSA 9, but I couldn't find any reasonable deals for a PSA 9 for this card. And every single deal that I found, they wanted 7, 8, 9, 10. There's even somebody asking $13,000 for a PSA 9 Crystal Zard. This card was less than that, and it's a PSA 10. It is an old cert. And the reason that's important, I want to get into that. The reason that it's important that it's an old cert is because I really am skeptical of old certs. And by old certs, we're talking about these numbers right here. Now this is 29, which is actually pretty good because it's teetering on the line of 30 millionth submitted card. Okay, I want to say around maybe 50 to 60 million in that cert area. Things got crazy with PSA, and you're seeing a lot of cards slide under the radar that didn't deserve the grades they had. A lot of them PSA 9 damaged. There was a really well-priced PSA 9 card of this card. I wanted to pick it up, but honestly, it didn't look that clean. And so I eventually got so overwhelmed with anxiety and, trying to be cautious about spending my money on this card since I had a bad experience with the PSA 8. And which I would warn you guys, not all PSA 8s are going to be bad, but even PSA 9s have problems. So I've just gotten to this point of collecting where if I'm not really happy with the 9, I'm just going to go for a 10. This is something that I'm grappling with because it's very expensive. Like it's a very tough financial goal and collecting goal. But there are so few PSA 10s, they'll probably hold their value very well. And in this one's case, I looked over the scans of this card very well. I put it up on my big screen monitor. As you guys can see, we're looking at these two corners here. Super, super clean. No dents or weird stuff. Almost every high-end card I've collected has some kind of weird dent on the corners. And thankfully, of course, I had to pay the premium buying a PSA 10, but this card is flawless. No scratches, no dings, no dents. Now, I do want to say, PSA 10 does not mean perfect. It is the highest level graded card you can get from PSA, but with CGC, there's the Pristine 10, which has got that gold label. With Beckett, you have the black label, which is like perfect. It means everything checked off on those cards. But truly, no single card can be perfect in this hobby. No single card can be perfect. And this is no different. This card is no different. This card is not perfect. I want to talk about this because even though it's a 10, it's still not a perfect card. Now, the front, I would say, is fairly perfect with the centering of the card and not having scratches and no dings. I love the Skyridge crystals, how the hollow goes all the way down the card. This card looks exceptional. Looking at it in hand, in person, it's absolutely gorgeous. I am so happy to have this card in my collection. God, it's absolutely insane looking card. But I do want to point out on the back, there are some flaws. Very, very minute, may not even catch on camera. Some of you may even say, Orion, you are really overdoing it here. You're even going to be anal and skeptical on a 10. But I do want to point out, also, shout out to Z&G Emporium. Yo, I usually never bid on stuff from Z&G Emporium. Usually there's too many heads. There's too many interested bidders. So usually I know I don't stand a chance. With this card, I cannot believe the price I got this card for. Honestly, it's not even a super outdated cert. I mean, it is outdated, but it's almost in the 3s, which is really awesome. What's more than that, this is the single cheapest, I think in the last year, in the last 365 days, there may have been one for 10,800, I think. But in the last 365 days, according to eBay sales, now that's not privately, right? Privately, there's some deals being made. This card can probably be had for $10,000, maybe $9,500, maybe even less than that, $9,000 flat. I don't know. I don't know what kind of deals people are making on this card. I just know if I was going to buy a card of this caliber, it absolutely had to be authenticated, money back guarantee, all the protection, and it was from Z&G Emporium. Now, the best part about this card was $11,000. That is the lowest sale price of this card, I think, in the last 365 days. I scored one of the lowest priced Crystal Charizards in a 10. It's a very similar situation with my Crystal 9 Lugia, which I can finally put these two next to each other. I've been wanting to do this for so long. Guys, this is a really, really big time for the channel, for me as a collector. I'm losing my voice right now. I am so excited about this. This basically is the same triple orb as my Latios. Let's see if we can point that triple orb out in there, which is another Grail card that was can't believe I own the Latios. Let's see. See if I can get that triple orb to show. There it is. You can see it just in that corner right there. That triple orb right there. So this Charizard has the same deal going on with the triple orb being right here on this guy. Really cool. But okay, I always wanted to put these together. Now I'm very happy with my Lugia, but the same thing happened with Lugia. I was very patient. I waited for the right auction, and I was able to pick this Lugia up for one of the lowest prices for the last 365 days in a 9. I was very happy about it. And this Lugia has a nice swirl up by its head. You guys can probably see that there, but these are two of my favorite cards right here. The Crystal Lugia and the Crystal Zard. And honestly, if I'm happy with a 9, like this is a super strong 9. It's an 8 cert. It's right when they got into the 80 millionths. And if you guys can see the back of this card, you can see that it's really, really clean. When I get a 9 that's like this, that's super, super clean, really well centered, has literally a white speck on one of the corners, I'm very happy with it. And honestly, I probably would have been happy with this Charizard as a 9, but I just figured we're getting into $6,000, $7,000. I mean, why not try and go for it? Why not try and go for the absolute tippy top of the upper echelon cards as far as crystals go in English? The Skyridge Charizard. I mean, I can't believe I'm looking at this card right now. So everything worked out. Now, I do want to point out, this is not a perfect card. I'm going to try really hard to find it. But you can just barely see. So a little bit of whitening on the corner, a little bit of whitening on this corner. You can barely see that dot right there. It's very faint. Otherwise, absolutely crisp. So beautiful. This card is so fucking beautiful. It's so gorgeous. I can't believe it. But I do want to say that even 11,000 was a huge stretch on this card. Like, I honestly was like, dude, what are you doing? I knew that I should have sold several other cards and made things happen and maybe waited for another paycheck or two to come in before I bought a card like this. I did put it on credit card. I got 2% back, which ended up being, I think $300 or like $220 I got back from my card on this, from my credit card on this immediately. So it's actually ended up being 10,800 for me, technically 10,780. But I had to withdraw it from the vault. That cost $50 to withdraw this card from the vault, which took me up to 10,830 for this card, which at the end of the day, really hard price to beat. Now, what's cool is on the vault, it shows what your market values are on cards. So when I put this in the vault, immediately it showed me that if I sold this card at market at $12,000, I would be up $1,000 on this card. Now, yes, that's a lot of money that I could have made on this card had I just sold it right after, but I did not buy this particular card to flip. I can do that with so many other cards. This card I knew I was going to end up taking out of the vault, but it's cool that that's a feature that it shows to you. But guys, this is going to revolutionize the way eBay works. This is going to revolutionize collecting. This is going to allow so many people to be able to affordably collect. Guys, you need to listen to this part right here. This is very important. This is arguably the most important part of the video. Yay, Orion got his incredibly awesome, shiny Skyridge Zard. We're all happy for him. Let's go. But this is the part where I help you guys out. If you guys are going after Grail cards like this, everyone keeps blowing off the vault. And I get it. You're scared. You're concerned. You've never used this before. You don't want to get into something new. I'll just pay the sales tax and have it shipped to me. Or maybe you don't even have sales tax, so you don't have to worry about it. But I would highly recommend enrolling in the vault regardless. There is going to be a 3% buyer's premium now, so it's not going to be totally foolproof, but it's still way better than 13% sales fees and paying sales tax. So when you enroll in the vault, when you buy a card, right? When you win an auction or when you send an offer, it gives you only when you're enrolled in the vault. If you're not enrolled in the vault, it does not give you this option, but it gives you an option, a little checkbox. Right? When you're checking out, it gives you a checkbox, send to my address. And then in the checkbox, it says send to vault. You click that checkbox, send to vault, and immediately you see the sales tax taken out of your purchase. And now, boom. Let's say I offered 11K on this card. 11K flat is exactly what I would end up paying for it. Now, I don't know how eBay is making this happen. I don't know how this is kosher, but I think eBay knows that if they can't make this work, they're going to shrink their market share in terms of the secondary market, right? People are going to be doing deals privately. People are going to be meeting on eBay and doing deals privately. What's the point of eBay if you can't afford anything on eBay and the fees are killing everybody? Well, that's where the vault comes in. So let's say you're like me and you're hunting down gold stars. For example, I buy this Latios on eBay, $3,000, which tippity top of the market right there, $3,000. But then I have to pay sales tax on that too. So now 7% of $1,000, so you get $70. Times 3 because it's 3,000. So that's $210 I'm going to pay extra. So really on that Latios, I'm out $32.10. Now you guys are following me here because if you're buying expensive cards, sales tax is the enemy. Fees are the enemy, but sales tax is the enemy. Now you absolve yourself of that sales tax entirely, other than the withdrawal fee. Now the withdrawal fee isn't always $50. Now I'm going to explain this all better in another video, but I think it's very fitting because I just bought this card and a lot of you are probably going to say, oh man, just the taxes on a card like that, that's like $800 in taxes on a card like that. But no, because I didn't have to pay any sales tax. What's more, if I kept this Charizard in the vault, you would say, well, you're not really going to get 12 grand even if it goes straight to the vault because you're going to get hit with sales tax. Wrong. When I sell from the vault, I take a zero hit on sales tax. So I sell it exactly for what I want to sell it for, $12,000, and that person either pays sales tax. I think they'll be paying the buyer's premium now because we're in 2024, which is another thing. I made sure to pick this up before 2024 because I wanted to deal with absolutely no extra surprise hidden fees. I wanted to be able to pick this thing up. Now, I will say, you have to be patient. This took 2 weeks to get to the vault. It had to go through authentication, then it had to go to the vault. It kind of took abnormally long. And then it took another 5-6 days to actually get here. So it took about 3 weeks for me to finally get this card, whereas I would have gotten it probably in 4 or 5 days had I just bought it outright. But is it really worth getting the card immediately if you're going to pay hundreds or thousands of dollars more? No, it's not. So I hope you guys can learn something from this and use it. I know as far as selling cards go, in the future, once I've completed all of my collection goals as far as my Grail cards, I will start to, I'm already doing this, but I'm going to start to look at crystals, shinings, gold stars, first editions. I'm going to be looking at all of those cards way more with the focus of buying them, sending an offer, getting them slightly below market, sending them to the vault, not paying sales tax on it, and then selling it through the vault. It's not even going to come to my house. Like, I'm never going to even see the cards that I'm going to start selling on eBay. They're going to be bought off of eBay or bought privately and then sent to the vault. And basically, I'm going to be doing everything high-end through the vault if I can. Anything that's not going to be on the vault or currently isn't in the vault is because I'm still holding on to these cards here. And that's the thing. We all like to have these cards in hand. It's totally different to have the card in hand and be looking at it than have it on an app on your phone. It's just not the same. Furthermore, a lot of people don't feel comfortable with the vault. I know TCA Gaming has talked about the vault and maybe some not so great experiences he's had so far with the vault. But so far, this is my first experience. I can't preach on everybody else's experience with the vault, but I do want to say I am absolutely thrilled. Oh, dude! One of my favorite things about the PSA 8 that I had was that it had a swirl on the lower half of the card. And look, my Charizard's got a swirl. You can barely see it, but there's a swirl right here on the lower half of the card. See if I can. And Aspen and Diana are having a really fun time in the bathtub right now. They are, it's her bath time before she goes to bed. So I'm about to join them and have some wholesome family time. But yeah, we are wrapping this up. We are wrapping this up now. You know, this card is absolutely huge. I'm going to hold it up one more time Even though I know there's only so, you can only look at this card for so long, but it's very special. It's very special. And that triple orb is really, really cool. But yeah, here's my, and I just love the fact that it's got a swirl down below. I think, you know, swirls are one of the coolest things that we can have on cards. And so the fact that this card also has a nice little swirl and a triple orb, it's just absolutely phenomenal. I was obsessed over this card for the longest time. It's not the rarest card in the world. It's not even super low pop. There's over 200 of this card in PSA 10. I would say it's one of the higher populations for like a PSA 10 Grail. And I actually already know of a couple people that own this card, but still, this card is just absolutely supreme. I can't believe I own this card. If you were to submit this card back in the day in a decent condition, you could probably get a 10. Nowadays, from what I've heard, it's very difficult to get a 10. There are a lot of people resubbing cards that are 9s, trying to get that 10. They can't get it. This is a tough card to get the 10. And I'm going to say even more so now, PSA, I do believe, is protecting their populations. We're calling it pop controlling. I do believe that that is going on. Otherwise, I feel like this card would have a much higher population in a 10, as it should be. They should be protecting those populations. From an investment market standpoint, you want these cards that you put your hard-earned money into. You want them to stand the test of time and hold up really well. Okay. That's, oh, and you know what? Since we've got them all, oh my God, Orion, I'm gonna end up tripping over these cards. Since we've got them all, take the Nidoking out. We're gonna take all of our crystals out, and we're just gonna look at all these beautiful, beautiful cards. I'm almost done, guys. I am missing one more crystal, and I have a complete crystal set with a PSA 10 Charizard and a PSA 9 rest of the set. All right. Here we are. We got the Charizard, we got the Lugia, we got the Nidoking, we got the Ho-Oh. Shout out to the homie for the Ho-Oh. We got the Crobat. We got the Kingdra. And last but not least, we've got Golem over here. And we've got the Kabutops. Now, honestly, I should not have bought all the crystals. I really don't think that I needed this whole set of crystals. It does feel right to have all of these cards now. I am missing one. I need a Crystal Celebi and a PSA 9. But that's it. And then we've completed this whole set. Did I need all the crystals? No. But it's one thing having a PSA 10 card. It's another thing having a complete set of all the cards from that, you know, limited set that's from that, you know, Aquapolis and Skyridge. For those of you that don't know, these crystal cards with this kind of crystal effect with all these colors at the bottom and then the hollow going down the second half, that only does that with Skyridge. It's not like that with Aquapolis. I don't know why they butchered that. It would be so cool if Nidoking had a hollow going down the second half. If you want that, just collect Japanese. In Japanese, all of them have hollow all over the card. Wow, Aspen is getting really loud in the bathroom. But yeah, these two boxes, some of my favorite sets of all time. Skyridge is probably one of my favorite sets of all time. Absolutely phenomenal. And now we just have to finish our Gold Star journey. And well, we still have to finish our Crystal journey. But again, guys, absolutely insane card that we have here today. Super stoked with it. And yeah, time to let you guys go because it's getting kind of loud in the other room. Anyways, peace out, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the video. This is an amazing time to be collecting. And yeah, hopefully this card should stay in the collection for a very, very long time to come. Anyways, is this the beginning of my PSA 10 journey? Oh, God. All right, guys. Peace out.